Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the BREWDCAST. I am, as always, Gal Robinson. With us tonight is the lovely, the loquacious, the sometimes lewd Town Drunk. How you doing, Town?
Yeah, I'm all those things. I think I don't know. That was.
I just really like the word loquacious. You're pretty loquacious, I would say.
I have some trepidation when you say that, but okay. Welcome to the Brewd Dictionary podcast. We're just going to say big words. We're going to use them all incorrectly. We're going to pretend like we know what we're talking about.
I think I used loquacious pretty well.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll see. I don't know.
I'm glad somebody does.
So tonight,
we're Leon-less.
Yeah, we are Leon-less. So here's the story with Leon. Shit, I had a really funny joke. No, I don't have it anymore. He's just not here. There's nothing we can do about that.
We are recording this on a different day, and he's not able to be here today.
Yes.
So that's about all it is.
So we want to talk about the big, gigantic Dynamite and Rampage results right away?
Yeah, let's go over that first before I bitch about wrestling fans and how shitty they are.
I'm all for that. I mean, we don't usually go like match for match. I've got them printed out here, but we don't have to do that. I think
what stuck out to you on Dynamite? I really liked the intro with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the way they explained it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Kenny Omega segment, even though it was super, super obvious what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super obvious what they were going to do. They had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, they
had
set the table.
I think Okada, Omega, and AEW they're putting a story together.
They are. Yeah.
Orange Cassidy leaving with Don Callis was weird.
That has me super intrigued. Because we had this big thing when Kenny was with Don Callis. We had this big thing where Orange Cassidy was, like, Don Callis was trying to recruit him, right? If I remember correctly. I was only, like, in and out at that point. But now we have this situation where Orange, at the very least, feels completely alone. Chris Statlander is, like, doing her thing with Willow. Chuck is out. Trent is Trent. Like, he's no longer.
I do think Trent's joining the Callis family.
That's kind of what I like. That was the vibe that I got.
And I think some of these things are obvious, but I think you still do them.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year we're learning that and this was the big thing I got out of WrestleMania this year was WrestleMania was predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so much fun.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as a wrestling fan, stories can be predictable.
Yes.
If I watch a movie and it's a movie where the good guy's supposed to win, like I want to see the good guy win at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, and that wasn't what we were getting before out of WWE.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like AEW is putting some stories together. Now, are these stories going to pan out? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they have not been great about doing more than one or two big stories. And I feel like they have quite a few big stories going on right now. Some of them will flop. That's just the nature of the business. Yeah. And I think having so many in the air, and hopefully Tony Khan is leaning on other people for like producing and like writing and all of that, like these storylines and the matches. Because I think then if they do flop, it's not just on Tony's head. And I think the other part of that is Tony is already doing so much that if one of them flops, it's just kind of like a domino effect, like you can't have one person doing, we've talked about this many, many times. Yeah. You can't have one person doing all of this stuff.
You have to have some support or there's no way you're ever going to be able to do it.
Exactly.
Which is true.
So the Kenny Omega thing, obviously I popped for that. I loved it.
I thought it was great. I thought that was great.
I'm still like, I recognize that wrestling fans are looking at what Kenny Omega said in the ring, and they're like, "Oh, he was working us. Like he's doing better than we thought because he just got beaten up in the ring." I'm not so certain of that. I'm not so certain that Kenny Omega would not have gone out there with the possibility of being injured in the process.
If you understand anything about diverticulitis, if you get hit in the gut, nothing bad happens to you. That's not how it works. He's sick and he needs surgery, and they have to go in and they have to do it. Brock Lesnar had the same thing. And 9 months later, he fought in UFC.
Yeah.
So he'll be back, but it's gonna be a bit. He's gonna have some time off.
Yeah.
And that shit happens. So, but I do think that was a good story. I think they told a good story with that. I think they're doing a good job. I think those guys running roughshod over the company is. It almost feels NWO.
Yes.
But like modern NWO.
Yes.
That's kind of how that's kind of how it feels. Like, hey, we're doing what we're doing.
And it's got a little cheese in there too, because it's the Bucks. The Bucks are a little cheesy, and so like it's got that in there. But it also has the thing that I love about the Elite right now is you have Okada, who's a star. You have the EVPs, who are stars, and then you have Jack Perry, who was becoming a star, and now you just strapped a rocket to his back because he is, for lack of a better term, the up-and-comer and the one serious one in that group. He's getting so much attention, and I feel like the big payoff is going to be either Jack Perry turns on the group or Jack Perry faces Kenny Omega.
Yep.
And that's,
There's
especially if it's for the world title.
There's a couple issues I have with AEW right now. One is Swerve Strickland's title reign.
Okay.
I don't think they did enough celebration with it after it happened, and I feel like I'm very concerned that this is going to turn into a Hangman reign. Where they just kind of like, yeah, okay. Christian's great, and Christian will give him a good feud, and they told the backstory. There's a reason Christian came out. There's a reason Christian wants to go after him. Cool, I'm fine with that. And the Young Bucks saying he's getting the shot because he said that, he said something bad about the Young Bucks. Okay, that makes sense. I'm not totally a fan, and I'm worried about his title reign. I hope it picks up. The matches are going to be good, but I just remember Hangman's reign and how shitty it was. That
said, though, Hangman had 6 title defenses? 7? I mean, he didn't have a ton. He was usually on the card, but like he wasn't getting a lot of in-ring time, and I think that really hurt. That really hurt his title reign as well. In Swerve, I'm less concerned because he's doing the fighting champion thing. And if
I just want him to be the priority. I just want him to be the priority.
Absolutely.
That is my concern, because what worked so well when MJF was a champion was the show was based on him. And he's got really a messed up shoulder. He just had surgery, so he's not coming back for a while.
I heard that.
He might be out he might be out for the rest of the year.
Oh, Jesus. I did not hear that. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I think that'll...
The other complaint I have is Chris Jericho. I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I love Chris Jericho. I love everything he's done. But I'm at a point where I'm just like, I don't care.
This is...
He's trying to do something cool, which is great. And it's something different, and he's going out there, and they're doing the stuff with Big Bill, and I'm all for it. I love Big Bill. I think Big Bill signing with AEW was the greatest thing he ever did, because he's actually finding himself there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm just like looking at this with Jericho, and I'm going, okay, like what?
This particular storyline, I watched it, and then I was like, they could do the same thing in WWE, and people would be all over it. I just think AEW is not
the place.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's doing great numbers, but like I don't have any interest in it.
I really am struggling. I'm really been struggling with him for a while, because it seems like part of how they're booking him is he's a legend and he can just do this shit. And I think that's when you jump the shark.
Yeah.
And it kind of becomes okay, it's time to go, bud. Not that I'm saying that, because I still think he can do cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole Jungle Boy feud, or not the Jungle Boy, pardon me, the whole Hook feud and all that was just like, I don't know, it was really not that good.
It was, the Hook thing was fine, but it was,
Yeah,
it wasn't as good as some of his other stuff. I kind of saw like he did the thing with it wasn't Blue Panther. The guy from CMLL, I'm forgetting his name. It was his son, right? And I thought it would have been really cool to just like let Jericho do some dream matches. Like not necessarily our dream matches, but like matches he wants to do. Let him do some CMLL stuff. Like let him just have matches. Don't necessarily involve him in storylines, and then maybe he just peters out for a little bit and then comes back.
Are we at a point with him where? And this is the thing I was thinking, because normally when you have a guy that's been around as long as him and has done the shit he's done, it's you just make him a face, and it's just he's Chris Jericho. He is who he is. His gimmick is that he's him. Yeah. And you just go, but that's not Chris Jericho. He always wants to have these gimmicks, and his gimmick is that he always has a gimmick.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like, okay, yeah, but like I mean, maybe at this point, what are we doing?
What if we put him in like a role like Billy Gunn, where he's on camera sort of regularly, but he's mostly just coaching and teaching and you know being an agent and stuff like that.
He's one of their biggest stars. Like you can't deny that he's not one of their biggest stars, but I think everybody's just kind of like, yeah, okay.
But like you look at Sting, and he was also one of their biggest stars, but he was not on the show every night. He wasn't even on the show every week. You know, like I think he could benefit greatly from stepping to the back for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think people are tired of him. Mm-hmm. I think there really is.
I will say that I really
go ahead.
I really enjoyed Shibata chopping the shit out of him.
Yeah,
I loved that. So anyway,
that match wasn't bad.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Rampage main event?
Oh, I loved it. I really did.
That power bomb off the apron through the barbed wire thing.
Jesus Christ.
Was oh my god.
That was
oh my god.
That was actually the next thing that I was going to talk about. Was like the one thing that we have been bitching about that I've been bitching about consistently. We all have, but like I consistently come back to it, is the women's division, how they treat the women's division. I think right now it's not perfect. Like they have a ways to go, but they featured 3 different storylines on this show, maybe more. And I'm happy that they're giving the time. Like Serena Deeb versus, what was it, Mariah May? Great match. It was a good showcase for both of them, because I don't think that everybody knows what Serena Deeb can do, even though that she's been there for a while. And Mariah May is new enough that people don't see what she can do. So like we got to see both sides. And
that was a very good match. And that main event of Rampage
is stellar.
I was stunned by that match, how good it was. Sky Blue's come a long way, Willow's come a long way. That group there, and then I would throw Julia Hart in there. They were like 2 years ago, they didn't know anything and they were struggling. And now it's like it's clicking, everything's clicking. It's starting to click for them. Which makes me think when they get pushed up and kind of become that next generation of, okay, it's our turn to be the women's champion.
Yes. Absolutely.
And also, is Toni Storm the best character in AEW?
Oh God, yes.
And
yes.
It's not even close.
Like
she's so amazing.
Especially that the press conference thing that you sent me. Oh, that was so funny. Oh my God. Like she just gets it. She just gets it, and it's amazing.
I have a candle for you that I'm going to send you.
Please do.
It's interesting because I look at her and I look at Swerve, and I look at them and I go, they're really good in-ring workers. And they went to NXT, and they got that sports entertainment piece, and they got that character building piece. And WWE didn't want to do anything with them. They let them go. And they're over here in AEW, and we're like, the in-ring work is still there, but they're building those characters.
Yes.
And those characters are just fantastic.
They are. I love to see it.
It's incredible. I still will say that when MJF is on AEW TV,
Mm-hmm.
nobody can hold a fucking candle to him. And that's hurting him right now that he's not there because he's their guy. Like, he's their guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, the top guy, the ace. Well, no, not the ace, but he's the guy. He's the guy that's going to be the biggest drawing power. He's the guy that can do everything. He can cut the promo. His matches are really good. He maybe he's not on the level of, like, Okada or Omega, but he doesn't have to be. Like, he's good.
Yes.
And I think his championship reign held that company together at a time where things were very not good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing. I think they're missing MJF. And I think Swerve's doing great. I love Swerve. There's other guys, Samoa Joe. I love Samoa Joe. The Young Bucks and the Elite are picking stuff up, so they have some good things going.
Mm-hmm.
When MJF comes back, he's obviously going to feud with Adam Cole,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes what I'm really excited for. Is I think back to like WWE in 1998-99. Okay. And we had Austin.
Mm-hmm.
We had Rock. We had The Undertaker. We had Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
And those were in Triple H in there too. Those were the pillars. Those were the guys. Those were the guys like that were in every main event. Were in every feud. I look at AEW and I go, okay, MJF obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve Strickland.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ospreay. A healthy Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Okada.
Mm-hmm.
5. Okay. And I'm like, if we just can kind of start doing this and kind of have these guys do their thing, we're there. We have the people. We just have to run with it, and that's I'm excited about that. But I think a really important point of what I just said is that Attitude Era does not work without Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy. He was the one. And those other guys were incredible, and those other guys would have been stars either way, but Steve Austin was the guy. And I look at AEW and I go, it's fucking MJF. And he's got to be there, and he's got to be doing it. And he's going to pull all those guys. He's going to pull all those other guys up. Mm-hmm. Because those other guys just cannot do on the mic what he can. Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, fucking MJF and Will Ospreay having a feud?
Oh my God.
Just sign me up.
Those two, yes.
Take
absolutely.
my money.
Yes.
Take my money.
Well, you say that, and the Attitude Era had like 5 or 6 guys who were always in the main event, like you just said. Yeah. I look at the roster on AEW, and it's way wider than that. I think immediately I thought FTR is, I think, up there. I think they have a lot of guys who are, if they're not in that upper echelon, they're very close to it. And all they need is just that little, like Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry is a great example. Darby Allin, when he comes back, I think is going to be up there.
I think I'm going to disagree with you. And here's why I'm going to disagree with you. Because in the Attitude Era, there was a lot of people that were really, really good. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of people that in other eras would have been champions. There was a lot of people in other eras that would have been really, really good. You have guys that are really, really good. FTR is really, really good. The Young Bucks are really, really good. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's other people that are really, really... Samoa Joe is really, really good. Mm-hmm. But to transcend that level and become like the fucking best, they're not all there. And I don't think they're all going to get there. And I'm not saying they're bad workers. I'm not saying they're bad professional wrestlers. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying there's like that extra it factor that some of these guys don't have. Samoa Joe does not have it. And I love Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe as champion is the greatest thing ever. But I don't think he's got that MJF style of it factor.
No,
and I look fair,
yeah.
And I look, there's a small group of them that have it. Okay, Jack Perry has it, but we've got to work on it. We've got to build it. Darby Allin has it, but we've got to get there. Mm-hmm. These other guys are there. We have a group of guys that are there that we can just plug in and go. And then you can pull those other guys up.
Yeah,
and there's some that can get there, and there's some that can't. Mm-hmm. I look at that, and I think, we grew up on the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era is what we fucking remember. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. And we remember being little kids when we were little kids. Who we had Hulk Hogan, and he was leaps and bounds above everybody else. And then below Hogan, you had Warrior and Savage. And then below that, you had like the $1 Million Man. You had those ranks, but the Attitude Era, it was Austin, and then it was those, Rock, Taker, those guys. And I look at AEW right now, and I'm like, you have MJF, he's the guy, and you have these other guys that are there. You have the ability to create something and to get these stories going and to kind of make this just start flowing, especially doing a pay-per-view a month, which is essentially what they're doing. I think they're close. I think they need MJF. I think when he comes back, it's going to help them out a ton. They're doing Osprey. They have to be doing Osprey Swerve at that show in London. They have to do it.
I mean, maybe. I don't think that they have to do it. I think
if you go there and Will Ospreay wins the world championship on that show, because everything he's done at AEW has been building him. He's never lost. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I think he lost. I think he lost a 6-man match. But I'm just sitting here. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's the guy. And Ospreay is incredible too. So they're
my one issue with that.
They're on the cusp. They're on the cusp of something really. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There is people here that can do it. We are on the cusp of something. So right now it's like we need MJF back, and we need you guys to start making this functional because you have the pieces. Let's take those pieces and let's go. And you have the pieces right now. If I had to pick between WWE's top 5 guys and AEW's top 5 guys, 3 years ago, you could not pick AEW because WWE just had more star power. They had more stars. Now I'm sitting here like, well, there's MJF and there's Will Ospreay and there's Okada and there's all these people, and I'm just like, that might be the spot to go. You're going to have better matches. The question becomes, can we get the story piece in there? So I feel like AEW is in a really bad lull, and people are down on them.
Yes,
but they keep getting compared to TNA, and I keep people, they're just like TNA. They're just like TNA, and I'm like, they're not, because the guys that are like at the top, and we didn't even talk about fucking Jon Moxley.
Oh God, yes,
because you can throw Jon Moxley in there anytime. So like they have guys. It's just a matter of, can we get these storylines? Can we get people sucked into these feuds? So I just, and we've talked about this so many times, that we haven't had that one feud in here like an Austin Rock or anything like that. That feud that's just like captivates everybody. And I think that's the key. I think that's what they need, and I think MJF coming back is a big part of that. But it's an exciting time, I think, to be an AEW fan, and it's a really fucking exciting time to be a WWE fan. This is probably segueing into my next point of how shitty wrestling fans are. Because they're shitty. They're shitty on both sides.
Yes.
Reading, I'm on Facebook too much. I look at those memes and they pop up for me because I keep looking at them. But I never post anything. I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? I got some gems. I'm just going to share some gems. You don't have anything else about Dynamite before we go on to this?
No, I don't think so. Like I think it was all around a good show.
It was a great show.
My one and only issue with it is like Samoa Joe just lost the title, and then you put him in a match with Private Party's Isaiah Cassidy. And I'm not saying Isaiah Cassidy isn't good. But like I look back at those like title runs, those like really big title runs. They don't even have to be really big, but like you look at title runs in WWE, the guy loses the title. He doesn't go back to like fighting jobbers. He goes to like, okay, what's my next thing? Am I going to go for the Intercontinental title? Am I going to fight with this guy because he called me an asshole the other day? Like they slip him right back into a storyline. And maybe that's because he's getting like, because he's going to Hollywood.
That's what AEW does.
It is.
Always do.
And it's frustrating.
That's another complaint that I have about AEW.
So anyway, we can talk about shitty wrestling fans. Let's please do.
I repeat that wrestling right now is fucking hot. It's hot. It's good. It's really good. It's better than it was in the year 2000. It's better than it was through part of 99. Okay. Is it like 98 into 99? Probably not. Because that was just an insane time to be alive and be a wrestling fan. Because the ratings were so high, the shows were so good. Both of them were good. We don't have the head-to-head, which I think is good. I think it's helping. But I look at WWE, and WWE's doing a lot of shit right. And I look at AEW, and AEW starting to do shit right. And they're starting to look more identical as the days go by with kind of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I think WWE is a little more focused on in-ring work than they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
To go onto Facebook and to see someone post a meme or a comment that says, Will Ospreay doesn't know how to work,
mm-hmm.
and Will Ospreay doesn't know how to cut a promo, and he should have went to NXT to actually learn how to work and entertain a crowd. If you think that, you're an idiot. You're a complete and utter idiot. Yeah. Okay? If you go onto Facebook and you post a meme about Triple H and you say that Triple H is failing at running WWE and doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you're a fucking idiot. Because Triple H is the guy right now. He is on fire. If you post a meme about how Cody Rhodes as world champion sucks, you're an idiot. If you post a meme about how AEW can't fill an arena, you're an idiot. Like, why are we're so tribalistic in this time when both of these companies are, and see, notice now, we've been very anti-WWE, and I will own that to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But WWE sucked. It was impossible to watch, and it sucked, and it was a terrible product. It has changed, and the whole time we were on here harping, we want the product to be good. It's fucking good, and I like it. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay saying that. Like, WWE's product is awesome. I can watch WWE and be okay. And that wasn't the case 6 months ago. That probably wasn't the case 4 months ago. They've done a really, really good job turning stuff around. Awesome, great. But why are we so focused on one show's good and one show's bad when they're both really good?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I look and there's WWE fans that are like, we talked about the buy rate for TNA's last pay-per-view, which was not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a comment, a meme about that, which was, come on, guys, if we want TNA to be the second best company in the country, we got to start buying their pay-per-view so we can ruin AEW. Just like, dude, are you that dumb and dense?
Oh my god!
You know, and it's interesting because it's the same people that post really inappropriate comments about like Liv Morgan or Sky Blue that say things that are just not. You should never say. You should never think. If you're a normal human, those ideas never come through your head. These people are just like spewing them out, and I'm just sitting here. The internet wrestling community is so fucking toxic, and we forgot somewhere along the way because we all get wrapped up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really easy to get wrapped up in. Because you look at anything, you go to a wrestling website to read news, and you accidentally scroll down to the comments. It's just like, holy fuck. It's a microcosm of society, and I get that, and I totally understand that. But the wrestling is so good. Even TNA is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, TNA is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
AEW is great. WWE is great. We have all this great wrestling, and we can't focus on the fact that there's really good wrestling. We've got to find shit to bitch about.
This is like my first sort of knee-jerk reaction is to look at like the video game industry, and like it's kind of the same. Like, it's a similar thing. Like, you have all of these people who are passionate about video games or wrestling in our case. Like, it's we're passionate about it. We want good products. We're seeing good products. That's awesome. But then you have this portion, and I don't know if it's the majority, I don't know if it's half, I don't know how much it is, but you have this portion of the community who are loud and obnoxious, and they say the stupidest shit, the worst, most offensive shit you could possibly see. And that's the stuff that gets attention. Like, that's the stuff that we see most often, and it's so frustrating because you're right. Like, the one, like, you were just talking a few minutes ago about the Attitude Era, and 90, 98, 99, we had WCW was awesome, WWE was awesome, and that's great. Right?
So
now,
is ECW.
Yes,
so is ECW.
Absolutely. But now we have We have GCW, we have TNA, we have WWE, we have AEW, we have NJPW. We have access to all of these things, all of these wrestling companies that are really fucking awesome. And you can find a wrestling company that you connect with and just follow them and see all their shit. Like DPW, like they rose out of YouTube, for fuck's sake. And you sit there and why the fuck would you sit there and say, well, AEW's got to go down? Why would you do that? Like, you can be upset. Like, you cannot, like, if you don't want to watch AEW, fine.
Don't watch it.
Just fucking leave everybody else alone. Like, you do not have to.
Same thing with WWE. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just hit the nail on the head, though, because there's something for everybody. And I was so just disgruntled and disenchanted with the wrestling business because WWE had been so just unwatchable. And I was there when TNA started. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there when other companies have started. I've never cared. In AEW, it was like, it felt different. And I watched it and I was like, this is really, really good. And I've watched since day one and I like it. But I can sit here and I can tell you, I love AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I also love WWE. And WWE is really fucking doing good. And AEW is doing good. And it's just like, okay, I like GCW too. Am I going to watch it all the time? No, but it's fun to watch GCW show.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that feel of just, it's fun. There's a lot of fun things. And I just feel like, why are we spending so much time? And this is both sides. I don't want to make it seem like this is just the WWE fans, because AEW fans are just as bad. Those toxic ones that are like, well, WWE should go out of business. They should do this. They should do that. They're so stupid. They don't know anything. Yeah, no, they do. Tony Khan's a bad booker. No, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because he makes a lot of money. He's sold out some huge shows. He's done some amazing shit. He's had some great stuff. Tony Khan doesn't book like Triple H.
And that's
Triple
good.
H doesn't book like Tony Khan.
That's good.
And I think that is the thing, is you have your style and you want everything to be like that style. But if AEW tried to be exactly what WWE was, it wouldn't work. And if WWE went away and tried to like do what AEW was trying to do and have all those great matches, that's not their roster either.
Yeah.
They've got something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
They can put on great matches. They have people that can, don't get me wrong, they have incredible workers. They have more talent than anybody.
Mm-hmm. And the other part of that too is talent. Like, you have all of these options that fans like us can go to, but you also have the same thing with talent. Like, you have somebody like Toni Storm, who's in WWE and gets overlooked time and time again, no matter how amazing she is. She leaves, goes to AEW. She's at the top of the fucking roster because she gets it. Like, that is her vibe right there. Like, AEW is her vibe right now. And like, you don't have to sit there and say Toni Storm is the best in the business. We don't have to. That's my thing, is like, we don't have to sit there and say so-and-so is the best in the business, because we have so many different facets of the business that we can just find our people and say, these guys are awesome. I want to watch them.
And I think that's what I wish they were doing. I also think growing up in the 90s, watching both products, WWF, WCW, I watched both. And when I was a kid, it was really easy because WCW was the weekends, WWF was Monday.
Mm.
And you had Saturday night, which was great. And you'd see people jump ship all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Big Boss Man became the guardian angel in WCW, and it was really stupid. And then there was like other things like that. But you saw those guys. There was guys that jumped ship. And I think people forget that during that era, people were jumping all the time.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, and sometimes you'd go and the jump would be really good, and sometimes it'd be really bad. It just kind of depended. Like Chris Jericho's debut on Raw, and I wonder these people that are typing this stuff and these people that are making this, I don't think they were alive for that.
I mean, it's definitely possible,
because that's 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Jesus,
I know, but it's literally 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like, okay, you don't remember that because you weren't alive.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't remember what it was like. And you don't remember sitting in front of the TV with a remote control, flipping channel to channel.
Mm-hmm. That last
Do you
channel
know?
button, I swear, was overused in our household.
Do you know? Do you know what me and Rainville eventually did? He would come over Monday nights. We'd watch wrestling. We'd set up 2 TVs.
I
WWF
think I
TV,
remember this.
WCW
I
TV,
think I remember
and
this.
we would mute the WCW one, and we would watch, but we'd watch both. And if something cool happened on WCW, we'd switch. But WWF had better. WWF always had better stories. WCW had better wrestling.
Yeah,
funny how that works. Like we just were repeating.
Yeah.
But I just remember that and being like, you people didn't experience that. You don't understand. You don't understand how exhilarating it is to sit there and to watch fucking Steve Austin and The Rock go head to head with Goldberg and Hulk Hogan in the same night. And just to sit there and to just be like, holy shit, what do I do? And it's like, it's the coolest feeling in the world, because you're completely torn, because this is huge. Everything is huge. And we don't know what that feeling is. And we don't understand that how important that competition was, because that competition hasn't been around. It was completely gone for 18 years.
It was. Yeah.
And it came back.
Conversely, though, I think I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a fair number of wrestling fans like us who grew up watching that Monday Night War, and I think they want it again. I think they're rooting for that. I don't think that's what Triple H wants. I think Triple H wants competition. I think Tony Khan wants competition. I do not think that they want Monday Night Wars or Tuesday Night Wars. I think what they want is to keep each other. Well, I'm guessing here, but I feel like what they want is for both companies to thrive, so that everybody has a place where they can work.
I don't know about that. I don't know if they give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's true. That's true.
I mean,
I do not think that Tony Khan wants WWE to go out of business, and vice versa. I don't think they care. I think you're right. I think they don't care.
I don't think Tony Khan wants WWE to go out of business. I don't think WWE gives a fuck. They're just too big of a corporation. I don't think they care. Do I think Triple H wants them to go down? No. Do I think Triple H respects what they're doing down there? I think he does, because I think he's a wrestling fan and he understands that he sees it. But I also think he's doing a really good job of just focusing on his own shit. And other than CM Punk coming on screen and taking shots at AEW constantly.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people in that company take shots at AEW, and I get that. But I don't think it's done with malice. I think it's done, maybe with CM Punk it is.
It is.
I think for the most part, people take those shots because they're having a good time. I think that's all it is. They're just having fun.
Yeah, and now if AEW takes a shot at WWE, they're losers and they're idiots, and WWE can do it. But like 3 years ago, AEW took all those shots, everybody loved it, and WWE took shots, and it was, God, they're fucking cheesy and cringy. It's just flipped. I don't know. Wrestling fans suck. Not all of them. That loud minority it's a minority.
I think that's the problem, is we have too many small pockets of people who think they know everything about the business and then go on Facebook and spout their ridiculous opinions. And we just look at them and we go, why are you even bothering? Who cares? Who cares?
So stupid.
And we have had that sort of criticism thrown our way, and I think the difference between us and I'm not saying we're the only people doing it this way, but I think the difference between us and the people we are talking about right now is that we have respect for all of the companies. We don't have to watch all of them. We don't care about WWE.
I also think that when we started this and we were talking about WWE, we were very not happy with WWE because we were fans of WWE for like 30 years, and we were frustrated and we were tired of it. And except every single time you or me or Leon talked about WWE, we always said, "I wish it was good."
Yes,
and it's good.
Yeah, it is.
And our response to it is, they're really fucking good. There's no reason AEW ever should have competed with them on any, the way they did. Shouldn't have happened. WWE has all that power, all that like global force. Like they're everywhere. They're just, I use global force. What a fucking weird term, Jeff Jarrett. What the hell? But like, they're just this humongous company that's been doing this for so long, and they're like the top of the heap, and they were getting just bitch slapped by this company that was a year old. And you're kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? But that's how mismanaged they were.
Yes.
Now they're not mismanaged. Now they're doing great. They have great things. They got CM Punk in. They have figured out how to utilize that man.
They have.
Which is great.
Yes.
Which is great. And that feud is great. Kudos to CM Punk. He's doing great. He's still fragile Phil to me. But kudos to him. Kudos to Drew McIntyre. They're doing great.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to say it. I love WWE, and I always have. And I always will. It's just, but it's so hard to love something when you watch it, and it's just so disappointing. And you just feel, like I told you, I always felt insulted when I watched it. Now I don't feel insulted. Now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, this is good. They're doing good stuff. They're doing stuff that's interesting. You can tell somebody else is making the show.
Yes.
And that's another huge part. So,
yeah.
But AEW, same thing. I think AEW is I think they're doing better than people think they are. I think we talked about that tonight. They're bringing some storylines together, and I think the wrestling business being strong is good for wrestling fans.
It is. It is.
You don't want AEW to go out of business. You don't want WWE to falter. You don't want TNA to go away. You don't want GCW to go away. You want these companies to stay because they help each other, especially the GCW and those smaller promotions where people they kind of turn into feeder leagues. And that's going to be their role. They're going to get people are going to go there. They're going to get a little hot. They're going to go somewhere else. Not all of them, but some will.
Yeah.
You know, and I think just to have it's such a good time in the business. We shouldn't be shitting on anything.
It really is. It's not like the Attitude Era was like 3 companies. And if you really if you love wrestling and you have a particular style of wrestling that you love, you can find it.
I think that's another good point too right now, is there's a lot of different styles of wrestling. You can find a lot of interesting stuff. And it's getting more play. I think that's another huge thing that AEW did, was they gave a nod to some of these other workers from these different places, got their name out there. So
yeah,
let's just enjoy wrestling.
Yeah, stop being shitty. Don't be shitty. Don't be cunts. Just be wrestling fans.
Have a good night. Let's be done.
Okay, sure. This has been Gal Robinson.
Was there anything else we had to talk about?
I mean, I have some talking points, but we can kind of peter out. Oh, there is one that I want to talk about real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about that one before we go. Let's pretend we didn't just do that.
Ethan Page has left AEW. I am like, what? Ethan Page, I just don't understand it, because like Ethan Page is such an amazing worker, and all he needed was a little push. All he needed was like just a tiny rocket. You don't have to give him a big rocket. Just put a tiny rocket on his back. But they never picked him up. They never picked it up, and it's so frustrating to see him.
The thing about Ethan Page. Okay. He was a good worker. He was a good character guy. He was good on the mic. But I always felt like there was something missing, and I always felt like it was just, or like a step away. What is it? We need that one thing. And we never got there. And he got absolutely lost in the shuffle.
That's the big thing. Yeah.
He could not find a way to stand out in that company. And
I think him with what was it, Scorpio Sky? Him with Scorpio Sky was huge. His work with like he was in the Firm, and then the Firm kind of petered out. Like, I think whenever he was on screen, he was able to capture my attention. But he wasn't on screen very much. I mean, especially when you look at like December to now, it's just like not at all.
Yeah, I remember when he won, when MJF won the belt, he won the number one or lost the number one contender thing. And I was just like, that was probably the moment where you should have had him win.
Yeah.
And he didn't. and he never recovered.
And he
from
just
that.
never. I wouldn't even say that. I would just say like after that, we didn't see him. He just disappeared.
Well, he went to ROH and he was doing some stuff in ROH. But
Okay,
he's opening. He's running his own company in Canada.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I would love to see it. Like,
I'm one guy. I'll tell you, I'm worried about right now is Danhausen because I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Danhausen.
Yeah, he's kind of like petered out. They teased him coming back, and then he didn't come back. And then he had like a brief return.
Is he doing Is he doing ROH? He's got to be doing ROH.
I don't know if he's on ROH, but from what I was reading, he's doing a lot of work with other promotions. So like, I don't know. You have these guys who are really, really promising, but then they just kind of float. And like you see him on occasion. I think Riho fits into that mold perfectly.
The thing with Riho lost her visa.
I didn't know that.
The thing that she'll get it back, but it's gonna take some time. The thing with Danhausen is that Danhausen Orange Cassidy team, when they teamed up before he got hurt, was picking up some big time momentum, and then he got hurt, and it was kind of like
yeah.
I hope they do something with him because he's so unique, and he'll never go to WWE. I just don't see him.
I could see it.
I don't.
With all the jokes that he does about The Rock, I could see it.
He's got that charisma. You think they could find a way to use that? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Bring back Danhausen.
Don't be a shitty wrestling fan. AEW good. Is that our
WWE good?
WWE also good. GCW also good. TNA also good. NJPW, AJPW, TJPW, DPW. I'm just flexing now.
I like coming on here and not having to bitch about stuff.
Yeah.
Like wrestling wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's way more fun. We can be happy about it, and I feel like we're kind of in that moment.
We can go. That was the only thing. I wanted to put out love for Ethan Page because he's amazing and I love him. If he wants to come sleep at my house for a while, I would be totally fine with that. I'll share a mattress. I don't think
he needs.
I'm just letting him know if putting him down in the world.
Calm down, lady. Come on, you calm down.
Okay, I guess. This has been Gal Robinson. This has been Town Drunk. We've been talking wrestling, telling you not to be shitty, and we love you. Bye-bye.